So the banks might just crash next month. And the reason why is because there is a pretty crucial program ending the second week of March. And it's called the Bank Term Funding Program, the BTFP. Now, the Federal Reserve created this after the banking crisis last March, a year ago, whenever you had the failures of Credit Suisse, Signature, Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic. You had some pretty big failures. And they created this system, this program, where the Federal Reserve would give banks that were struggling 100 cents on the dollar. So full value for whatever bad collateral they had, so that these banks could continue to have liquidity, continue to have cash. And over the course of this year, it's set to expire in about a month, banks have continued to use more and more and more value in this program, as in they've been continuing to cash in more and more of these assets, parking them at the Federal Reserve for a year so that they can keep getting cash, which tells you that the banks are struggling. They've been struggling for a year. They've been really desperate for money. And if they actually let this program expire, the banks could go down. I don't know what the balance sheets look like exactly. I'm not the CEO. I'm not crunching the numbers. I'm not cooking the books in the kitchen. I'm no filet mignon chef when it comes to financial alchemy. But I will say this, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they posted some pretty big unrealized losses, 30, 60, 90, 120 billion, whatever it is. They were pretty fucking huge. And if they can't get cash all of a sudden from the Federal Reserve, I'm not saying they'll fail overnight. I'm not saying they're going to fail at all, but it's just something to be aware of. If you have a ton of money parked in one bank, you might want to diversify that.
All right. The banking collapse continues, man. I'm going to give all praises, glory, honor, and power to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well, who I learned this truth from. And salutations to the brothers stiffly pushing this truth out, risking your lives and freedoms to do so. And shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of the Lord Yahweh Shah. All right, this is your brother Rechagabar. All right, and this bubble's about to burst, man. All right, now we know that, since last year, man, you've had several major banks that went under. Okay, Silicon Valley Bank. All right, I believe it was a bank in New York, and several others. All right, and little did I know, you know what I'm saying, the feds pretty much immediately rolled out this program, all right, that he just mentioned, this bank term funding program, pretty much to be a buffer, pretty much to try to, slow down the collapse of those banks, okay, because it was one major bank after another and the shit was getting out of control, you know what I'm saying? So they pretty much rolled out this program, bank term funding program, which pretty much allowed these banks to continue borrowing money, 100 cents on the dollar. So complete, complete face value from the feds with, and they had to pretty much pay it back within a year. So come March, this particular program, all right, is set to expire. Okay, so all these banks that have been losing billions and billions of dollars, and like he just said, let me rewind it back, because you see these articles, man, over and over again, like JP Morgan loses $40 billion, $100 billion, you know what I'm saying? Bank of America, etc. And it really would be much worse, all right? But for the simple fact they've had this program going on, this bank term funding program, pretty much to try to, for lack of better words, to try to, slow down the effects of this banking collapse, man, which has still been an ongoing thing. And essentially come March, we could start hearing about these major banks shutting down all over again, man. And it could just take a whole new turn because, it stands to be seen, but I don't know if the Fed's going to bail them out again, man. So with all this money that everybody using now anyways is not worth shit, man. It's just all not worth shit, man, which, we've known this for a while, but it's like this bubble's about to burst. Okay, this bubble's about to burst, man. I'm going to play this part back.
Losses, 30, 60, 90, 120 billion, whatever it is. But I will say this, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they posted some pretty big unrealized losses, 30, 60, 90, 120 billion, whatever.
Yeah, unrealized losses, man. So they losing hundreds of billions of dollars, man. that they can't afford to pay back. It's the whole reason why they had to get bailed out by the feds. And so these banking collapses and shutdowns of these different branches, these local branches and things, man, these things are about to continue, man. All right. And they've tried to pass this little program to just like what Biden did, man, with the oil, man, because we know the price of oil was going up and everybody was getting concerned. You know what I'm saying? You had oil, the price of gasoline at the pump just kept going up. And then what happened? They had to, pull oil from the reserves, all right, to pretty much try to, you know, blanking on the damn word I'm trying to use, man. Pretty much to try to mitigate, you know what I'm saying, or try to, have it to where the true effects of what was taking place wasn't seen. All right. And, I for lack of better words, but that's what they did, man. So this is the reason why the price at the pump is being what it has been. But whole time, the fact that we at war right now, okay, you had Israel just attacked Iran's two major pipelines in Iran, okay, a few days ago. We at war with the Houthis and Hamas, and those tensions in the Red Sea and the Middle East is escalating, man. So that's going to all affect the price of oil. They talking about truckers not going to New York City, which I don't know how valid that is. And, I'm waiting to see more information on it. You know what I'm saying? But all these things are going to play into a hyperinflation, man, a higher cost of living that people ain't going to be able to afford. Okay. And at the same time, you got people that was running to these banks to take out their money. And the only reason they were able to do that is because these banks are pretty much bailed out by the feds. But once this program ends in March, okay, it's highly likely we're about to see a whole nother round of major collapses and all types of shit, man. So I do have this article pulled up on to read a bit from. It says the Fed bank bailout program ends in March. Then what? Okay, now let's skip down to this example they gave and then I'll go back up because, I just wanted to give it this example because I'm not, I'm not no financial advisor or nothing, but we can see that this shit is about to collapse, man. This shit's about to implode and this bubble's about to burst. Okay, this thick clay, which is this debt, all right, this shit is about to burst, man. All right. But this is when you read further down in the article, it says, imagine if there was a tornado in your area that damaged your house. The home would suddenly be worth a lot less than it was before the storm. Now imagine going to the bank and asking for a second mortgage based on the value of your home before the tornado. Do you think the bank will make that loan? All right. Of course not. The bank probably wouldn't loan you money based on the lower value of your storm damaged house, much less on what your home was worth before the tornado. Banks simply do not accept collateral that is worth less than the amount of the loan, right? It says that is unless you're a bank in trouble. The problems at Silicon Valley Bank that led to its demise reveal the reason for the bailout. Silicon Valley Bank went under because it tried to sell under. Okay, and this is gonna be a lot of jargon, I don't understand completely. But it says the BTFP, that program, gave banks an alternative. They could quickly raise capital against the bond portfolios without realizing big losses in an outright sale. It gives banks a way out, or at least the opportunity to kick the can down the road for a year. So they pretty much had a year to where they had to pay all that shit back. So I believe the program started like last March or sometime around there last year. Now it's going to expire come March 11th. Right. So they either pretty much pay that back. They gonna be able to pay that back, or she's gonna have to go under, man. It says, in effect, the bailout papered over significant problems in the banking system. Yeah, just pretty much put a Band-Aid on the shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, they can't continue to do this shit, man. We always hearing about potential defaults, potential government shutdowns because they're sending all this $60 billion and $100 billion over to Ukraine and Israel and everywhere else. And the whole time they got homelessness, people struggling to pay bills and make ends meet. But they're giving all of these migrants and, free phones, free housing, free food, free allotments of money each fucking day and shit. You see? So they have all this fucking fake fiat money that's not worth shit that they're just dishing out, man. They're actively trying to cause this shit to collapse, man. How do you continue to spend trillions of dollars that you don't actually have, man? Okay. Why would you do that unless you had a plan in place to where you wanted to implode? You want to, default on your debt and have to restart and start over with a new form of currency, man. Which that's what they're doing. They're about to bring out that CBDC, man. Okay. I pray this shit just fucking collapses, man. Just let it happen because we constantly hear about banks shutting down. I think it was like 3 or 4 major banks last year we heard about. All right, Silicon Valley, forget the other ones. I think it was one in New York and, whatever the other ones was, man. And then it kind of went quiet. Even though, different local branches and shit was still shutting down. But again, the reason it went quiet is because they rolled this deal out, this program, which pretty much was a buffer. You see a buffer zone, slapping a Band-Aid on the problem, and now this shit about to expire come March. Right? So I really pray this shit fucking burst, man. What happens when the bailout shuts down? That remains unclear what will happen when the program locks its doors on March 11th. So they're saying it stands to be seen. But this is just like what happened with EBT. During the pandemic, they were giving out emergency allotments, you know what I'm saying? Then they completely went out and took all those things away. So as they're going to take away this program, man, and then take away this extra money that these banks really aren't able to pay back, man. What do you think is going to happen, man? Okay, they're not going to be able to keep going on like this, man. Okay, there was a financial advisor last year. I forgot what his name was, but a top financial advisor warned that we would see the biggest collapse, all right, in history, I believe he said, for this year. All right, and this could very well be the reason why. This could, be a aspect of it, if you will. Okay, because these banks gonna keep shutting down, man. They really don't even got the money to give to depositors and all those other different terms and shit that come with that, man. I'm not no financial advisor, but this place is on its last leg, man. Okay, it just can't afford to do this shit, man. But yeah, they're trying to pass all these bills to send money overseas, but you have people over here in your very own country that are struggling, man, on the verge of death. You know what I'm saying? Homelessness and not being able to make it. But yet they're giving all this money out. Okay. So yeah, it's not looking too hot. All right. This bubble's about to burst, man. It really is. You know what I'm saying? They can't just afford to continue to do this shit. All right. Matter of fact, it says if banks didn't address their underlying problems over the last year, we may well see more small and regional banks go under in the coming months. They ain't been able to address them problems, man. Everything's gotten fucking worse. So yeah, I pray they do go under. They all about to go under, man. It says, and if that happens, will the Fed blink and reopen a BTFP? This is something to keep our eyes on, which it stands to be seen. But at the way they be moving, man, they probably would try to come back and reopen this program, because that's what they do every time they about to default. Okay, or not default, but the government is about to shut down. They always pass a bill last minute to avert the shutdown. But the point I'm making is that this is not something they can sustain and yet even continue doing, man. This place will fall, man. This banking system will collapse, man. Okay. For the simple fact they want a central bank digital currency over here, man. You always got to understand what these devils' end goal is. So knowing that, that this current system got to fall. And another thing too is that they have actually switched they switched this shit over from what was it, Swift? Okay, I believe it was Swift, and they switched it over to the I think the quantum financial system or some shit. But anyways, that shift was pretty much done in order to allow these banks and shit to be able to use that CBDC and digital money and cryptocurrencies and shit to make those different transactions. So that's really why they had to get rid of the old system. Okay. So that's another reason why these banks are really going under, man. Because when this shit go back online, man, they coming with that CBDC. All right, you better believe that, man. All right, you see and can read all of this, but yeah, that I'm not about to, you can read this article. I'll put it in the description box, but they ain't gonna be able to just keep, getting bailed out like this, man. This is Habakkuk 2:6. All right, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay, 30 some odd $1 trillion in debt is thick clay. Okay, this word clay here goes back to the Hebrew word I bought yacht. Okay, I bought yacht, which it says weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, heavy debts, man. This place is in heavy debt, okay? And we are getting to that point, man, to where this is about to implode. The bubble's about to burst. They're going to allow these banks to go all the fucking way under. You see, they're just laying people off in the thousands. A lot of people are reporting that they're trying to find work, but they just can't find it. Okay, a lot of people are having to go back and live with their parents or 2-3 roommates and shit, because it's just getting out of control, man. The housing crisis, and it's one thing after another, man. So these banks are going to go under. It just stands to be seen, come March, if they try to reinstate this program, which is something they could do, man. The way these devils move, but at the end of the day, man, you got to know that this shit's about to go under. All right. This shit's about to go under, man. Okay, because I didn't even know that this program had passed last year. Okay, they always do this shit sneakily under the radar. You know what I'm saying? And now the whole time this program is set to expire. So either these banks pretty much gonna have to pay back all that debt. You know what I'm saying? Pay that shit off, or what? Or what, man? That's what stands to be seen, man. But anyways, that's the point. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Bashim Kakadash DTA Wah Baba Ball Shalom.